Real quickly before we begin, I want to thank this video's sponsor, CarMarshal.com. CarMarshal.com can save you lots of money on buying used or new vehicles, cars, trucks, school buses. If you want to save money, I'll have a link in the description down below. I know I'm going to...
Yes, I'm here to pick up a records request.
Okay, what's your name?
Copwatch.
Okay, for Copwatch?
Yes.
Okay. You do.
How much?
That's it. You're good.
All right. Thanks. Wow, they passed the test. We came here to get the file. And actually, they didn't actually give us what we want. So yeah, what we actually wanted was they have a video of the internal investigation of a guy admitting that he had sex with a dog, and it is literally written in the IA report. And they're supposedly saying that they don't have it now, and so we got the audio. So, and now they're saying there's an exemption in the audio, and we looked up the exemption they're giving, and it looks like bullshit to us. So we're going to find out what they cut out of it, because we do have the IA report, and there better be a bunch that match. But they actually did pass on this. If one person asks for the request and pays for it, everybody else gets it for free after that. So they actually did pass on that. But where they did not pass is, like I said, is we were supposed to get the video. They're lying and saying they don't have it. That's a lie. So Northport Police passed on giving us this. Somebody else just paid for it. We were gonna do a scam, but they got the scam. I didn't have to pay for it, but in reality, we wanted the video. In the IA report, they said they did a video because it was so bad. The guy admitted he had sex with a dog. And this is a cop that they hired. So they did not charge him with the crime of having sex with an animal. That's felony in Florida. Also, he committed perjury. They did not charge him. We believe they let him quit. So if you're a cop, you get away with everything. If not, you don't. So that's it for today.
Department Internal Affairs Unit. Today's date's July 26th of the year 2017, and the time is approximately 1:52 p.m. This is a taped sworn statement taking place at the interview room of the Investigations Bureau of the Northport Police Department in reference to IA case number 2017-05, and will be the taped sworn testimony of Officer Christopher Piscory. Sir, as a sworn law enforcement officer and a notary public in the state of Florida, I have the authority to place people under oath and take testimony from them. So I'll ask you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
For the record, would you state your full name?
Christopher Dennis Piscory.
How are you employed?
I'm employed with the Northport Police Department as a probation officer.
Prior to going on tape, and you do understand we're taping this, prior to going on tape, did I ask you any questions directly about the case that we're talking about today?
No.
Prior to that tape statement, did I give you a form known as Garrity and one Officer Bill of Rights and allow you to read them and ask any questions if you wish?
Yes, you did.
Did you sign the bottom of those indicating you understood those rights?
Yes, I did.
Prior to this, let's ask it this way, you got a chance to review the file.
Yes.
Do you know of any other evidence that's out there that is pertinent to this case that I need to know about that should go in this file?
No.
Okay. Having read your Bill of Rights, do you feel that your rights are being violated at this time?
No.
Should you think at any time that your rights have been violated, you have until the chief signs off on this case as being closed and finished to bring that complaint forward. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. When were you hired here? What's your hire date?
My exact hire date, off the top of my head, I don't know. I do know it was in December, early December.
Okay, so December of 16.
Yes.
Okay. Was this the only agency that you were processing with?
No.
Okay, what were the other agencies?
I was in the process with the Sheriff's Department, and I had put in an application with Sarasota Police Department.
In those processes with the other agencies, did you have to fill out background questionnaires and application questionnaires for those agencies too?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did each of these agencies have to give you a polygraph?
Yes, I did. Well, wait. Did each of them give me a polygraph?
Yeah.
No. The only agency that gave me a polygraph was the Sheriff's Department. My process with the Sarasota Police Department never got passed. I never pursued with them.
And we gave you a polygraph here?
Yes.
Okay. Did you also have to take one for the academy?
Yes, I did.
Before they administered that polygraph to you, did the polygraphist interview you and talk to you about the questions that they were going to ask you before they hooked you up to the machine?
Yes, I did.
They're pretty much similar questions? Maybe not 100% the same, but similar in what they were asking?
Yeah, they weren't 100% the same, but they were similar in retrospect.
Do you remember the type of questions they asked?
Criminal background, drug usage, domestic violence questions, inappropriate sexual contacts, and a broad assortment of others.
So, kind of a general, all-around
that's correct,
set
yes.
of questions.
Yes.
And so you've had to answer those numerous times.
Yes.
Okay. I understand that during the process with Sarasota Sheriff's Office that you ran into a problem with their polygraph. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I also understand that prior to that polygraph that you had spoken with their background investigator and told him that there was made an admission to him. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
What was the admission?
The admission to the investigator was the very next morning after I had my interview with him. It was, I called saying that I had done some sexually explicit things with my dog at a young age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they let you proceed from that point?
They did.
Did he let you know he was going to tell the polygraphist the admission that you...
Yes, he
did.
did.
Okay. So you talked to him, you go in for your polygraph. Sergeant Borntrager was your polygraphist.
Yes, that's correct.
And did he interview you and talk to you about the admission you made and then ask those same kind of general questions before he hooked you up to the machine?
Yes, that's correct.
And did you explain to him about the admission?
Yes, I did. This is going to be a wrench in the machine. So the admission that I had told about it happening at a young age of, I guess the report says 12, was indeed fabricated. Did not happen at a young age. It actually happened a couple days prior to the actual background questionnaire for the Sheriff's Department.
But you didn't tell Borntrager that.
No, I kept it as the lie of it happened when I was in a young age.
Okay. And that was the only admission that you made to him before the polygraph.
That is correct.
So now Borntrager hooks you up to the polygraph. And when he was done with it, did he have occasion to talk to you about the results of the polygraph?
He did. His polygraph methods were a little bit different than every other agency's polygraph. In reference to this topic, he asked me, is there anything else you wanted to say? And I said, it happened when I was a child. Only for the aspect of I was extremely embarrassed that it actually happened in my adulthood as a 26-year-old. So I kept up the lie, and he asked me about it. I elaborated on it, and then that's, I guess that was it. And then he hooked me up to the machine again.
And you had other problems with the polygraphs?
Yeah, the other instance with the polygraph that he had an issue with was in relations to domestic violence. Before he asked me any questions in relating to domestic violence, he showed me a diagram that had generalizations of what could be described as domestic violence. One of those words in that diagram was slapping. I read that and I instantly flashed back to a time, your report says 2 years. That was a general ballpark estimation. It actually happened when I was brand new into the military life. I was at my first duty station in DC in 2009. And actually, it was actually my second duty station, and I was in Camp Lejeune, and this was in 2010 timeframe. Actually, yeah. What had happened was I'm sitting on my computer, minding my own business, playing a computer game. I'm getting ready to. I can't remember if I was just coming back from a deployment or about to go, so my stress levels were pretty high. My wife comes at me yelling, screaming for me to do something. I'm really not in the mood for it. I'm in, I guess you would call my game zone, if you will. She gets in my face and she starts swinging at me. She swung at me and I smacked her hand out of, like from hitting me, I smacked her hand. So that's where I saw slapping, and I instantly flashed back to that. There was no police involvement, there was no case filed on it. It was the one time, and that was it.
Did you make any other admissions of any kind or anything else to him, other than those two that you just told us about?
Just the dog and the domestic. He asked me if the dog thing happened once. I told him yes, and then I changed it to it happened twice. But that was after he had retested me. When he retested me and saw that I was still not being truthful about the dog instance, it came back as not being truthful because it was all fabricated. It had happened when I was an adult and not 12. So when he asked me, why are you still coming wrong with this, I said, well, maybe it wasn't once, it was twice, thinking that that would solve my problems. So then again, another lie, not fixing anything. And that was pretty much it. He said, okay, we're completed here, and I left.
One last question about that phase, that whole thing with the sheriff's office and that. And they gave you countless opportunities where you could have disclosed that before they went into the process, did they not? I mean, you had you had documentation to fill out, there's questions on the questionnaire, on the application, and then again you talk to your background investigator. At any time you could have disclosed that before you got to the polygraph.
So I believe the actual questionnaire that you're talking about is just a general questionnaire.
You can get those out because I'm going to ask you about those too. Probably be on the bottom. There we go. It's that packet.
Yeah. Yeah, so with this packet here, this is Northport's copy. The Sheriff's Department copy, he gave me this copy a couple, I would say maybe about a week or so before the actual polygraph questionnaire. So with that, the dog instance had actually happened after I filled out the Sheriff's Department frontal questionnaire.
Okay, so you were done. He told you that you were finished. You could leave. He didn't, I don't, whatever the terminology he used. He didn't say you were disqualified. You're done. It's over.
No, he said we'll be in touch.
Okay. So now you're processing with us.
No, my process with you is more or less almost done. I had already done the polygraph with you guys. I had already done the background with you guys way before my polygraph with the Sheriff's Department.
Did you tell our background investigator or make any of the admissions to our background investigator that you did to the Sheriff's Office?
I told my background investigator that he had asked me if I was applying to another agency, and I believe I said I was with, had put in an application, but I haven't done anything further with that.
When, after you left the Sheriff's Office knowing that that process was over, when you came back, did you let anybody on our agency know that you had failed the polygraph at the Sheriff's Office?
No, I did not see any reason to. I had already done my polygraph with Northport, and I had already passed. I didn't want to shoot myself in the foot. I didn't think anything would come of it, and so I just didn't tell anyone. I just went on with my process with.
But you had to know it wasn't truthful.
But that's the thing. It was truthful. My polygraph with Northport was true. None of the dog instances had happened when I took Northport's polygraph. That instance didn't occur, so how it didn't happen.
All right. On the front part of that, right down at the bottom, it's highlighted right there. When you fill out ours, it gives you a warning, does it not, about you have to be truthful in all the documentation or you'll be disqualified.
All information is subject to verification. Deliberate falsification immediately disqualifies this application. That is correct. I just read it.
Okay, question 12. I'm not sure what they are from here. I know I highlighted them. Question 12 was?
Question 12 says, have you ever committed a serious crime, either detected or undetected?
In which you answered?
No to.
Okay. And the 13?
Have you ever committed a crime, either detected or undetected, that you feel was not serious? I answered no.
Okay. And then I think the next one is 20?
Yeah, 20. Have you ever done anything in your life that could target you for blackmail? I answered no.
Okay.
Is there anything in your background that would embarrass the department? I answered no. And the 22 was, have you ever physically abused another person? I answered no.
Okay. So you answered no to those, but you've admitted to have been involved with slapping your wife. Would you not think that would be embarrassing to the department? And would that not be considered, in the state of Florida anyway, a crime? Even, it's battery even to touch somebody unlawfully, let alone slap their hand.
Right,
during an argument.
that is correct. I will say that when I did take this, and I filled this out, I was still in my infancy of the academy. I did not know the legal statutes 100%. I honestly didn't even remember that instance until the sheriff's department, and this process was taken way before I had done anything with the sheriff's department.
So you're also telling me, if I understood, I don't want to put words in your mouth, that the incident with the dog happened after you filled that out?
That is correct.
Again, and you may have already, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I mean, you're already deeply into the process here, because I believe you were hired in December.
Yes.
But October and November is when you were at the sheriff's office. So you hadn't been hired here yet, but you didn't tell anybody about this. You didn't come clean or make any admissions to anybody here. It's what we call lies by omission. Why? What's your reasoning for not? You came clean with the sheriff's office.
My
You told
reason.
them.
Okay.
Just trying to get your
Embarrassment?
thoughts.
No. Embarrassment. 100% of it was embarrassment.
Okay, I can understand that.
The other half of it was I needed a job. I have 2 kids and a wife that I have to support. I didn't want my actions, honestly, screwing that up. I have, during my process with the sheriff's department, I wasn't in the right state of mind. I had found out during that process that my wife was in the process of having an affair on me. So when I did the sheriff's department, I was just not, I had a lot on my plate. I had the uncertainty of employment, I had a cheating wife. So yeah, I didn't want to lose out on a second on a job that I needed. And I didn't see the need.
Understanding that you're under guarantee and it's not going to happen, but do you not understand that when you falsify a record, it's a felony? And you could have been charged. You could arrest somebody as an officer for somebody filling out a form improper, either by omission or otherwise. It's considered perjury in a written document. It's falsifying a document, and it's a criminal offense in Florida. Did you not realize, or I think you said before, don't want to put words in your mouth, but I believe your testimony was that something to the effect that you didn't say anything and you didn't figure anybody's going to find out.
It's not that I didn't want anyone to find out or didn't think anyone was going to find out. I don't know.
Is there anything else about this incident, or either of these incidents, if you combine applying for here? I mean, even at the academy, you had to fill out a questionnaire pretty similar to what we did here. And I believe you took a polygraph there and passed their polygraph up there.
Yeah.
But so there were numerous times along the way that you could have let somebody know and stopped the process before you got to the point where you falsified documents. But is there anything about this that you would like to make part of the record that I don't know to ask you or you want to say?
I don't know. I mean, none of what I've said happened when I applied for the academy. None of what I said happened when I applied with Northport, except for the domestic violence of slapping my wife's hand when I was in the military. The dog reference, that happened well after I had taken my polygraph with Northport. It had happened well after I had taken my polygraph to get in the academy. And that's, I don't know what else you need.
Has everything you've told me here today been the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah, I don't know what else you
No,
want.
I just want to make sure that you have every opportunity that if there's any part of this that you told me that's not true, you have a chance to clarify it now before I turn the tape player off. I have to give you that opportunity. If you want to change something, if something you said isn't, I give you the opportunity to clarify it, and that's what it is. It's considered clarifying it. If there's something more you want to add, I have to give you, it's only right, give you opportunity to say something. Other than that, I have no more questions for you, and my interview with you is basically done. So I just want to make sure you're telling the whole truth and what you have told me under oath. Because remember when we talked about Garrity, all bets are off if you perjure yourself. If you perjured yourself, then that is a felony charge. And that could be prosecuted. So I just want to make sure you're honest with me.
I'm been as honest with you as you've asked your questions.
Okay. The other thing I want to tell you is, and most people don't know the process, I'm just a fact finder. I don't make any decisions on these cases. I'm not permitted to. All I do is send your statement in, get it transcribed like the ones that you've read in front of you, and then it goes into a binder, and I type up a summary of everybody I've talked to, what they had to say. I send that to the chief and the command staff review it. He makes the decision. I do not. I'm not allowed to. That's why I have to stay neutral.
Okay.
And that's what will happen with this process. I put this all together, it goes to the chief, and then he reviews it, and then he'll make up his decision on what he's going to do, and then you would be contacted. There's forms that contact you to let you know if there's discipline to be involved, what it is. There's usually a pre-disciplinary hearing for you to attend, to have another say, anything you want to say to the chief before he does whatever he's going to do, and that's usually the process. So it's not like today this is over and done with and I'm going to go make a decision. I'm not allowed to.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay. No questions for me?
I guess my biggest question is whatever is deliberated between what my status as an officer is. I go to apply for, I don't even know if you can answer this question, I go to apply for a civilian job, and they ask, list your prior employments. What information is the department allowed to release in reference to this, other than he's hireable or not hireable?
That you'd have to ask either Nicole or somebody in HR, because I don't know and I don't want to tell you wrong.
Okay.
I know for a long time it was just what you said. Employers were only allowed to say whether you would or would not employ somebody. I don't know if that's changed, brother, and I don't want to lie to you.
Okay. Yeah, that's basically what I'm not saying that I know what the outcome is. This is going to be. It's just, yeah.
Okay. That will end this tape statement, and it is 2:20 p.m.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Copwatch, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use, and also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, you know, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.